Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at this 2023 BMW M850i. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So this M850i is finished off in skyscraper gray metallic, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features. So let's start off underneath the hood, where this has the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 that's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,500 pound coupe from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18 gallons. You'll expect to see around 17 miles per gallon in the city, 24 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 111.1 inches. Its overall length is 191.2. It has a width of 74.9 and a height of 53 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this M850i, as you can tell, this has the kidney design for the grille, finished off in matte black, which is a really nice combo. It has an integrated forward-facing camera, the M badge on that driver's side, and pretty much no restrictions to allow a lot of airflow to that twin turbo engine. Now this model even has the M50 years badge, which you will see located throughout the vehicle, and it even gets a set of adaptive LED headlights with the laser light technology. Very sleek housings for the headlight housings themselves, so it matches nicely with the grille. Now for the lower section, plenty of cutouts provide even more cooling. There's a forward-facing sensor for the adaptive cruise, and you can see the massive inlets located throughout. There's even some black plastic in the very lower section of the bumper, but really nice lines surrounding that lower grille, and then great lines coming down the hood, meeting the top of the grille very nicely. Now for the side, this gets a set of 20-inch wheels with the two-tone design. The calipers on this model are finished off in black. There's also a trim piece just behind the front tire, and this has the gloss black side mirrors with the integrated turn signal and a camera, and it even gets the full carbon fiber roof. Now the rest of the window trim is blacked out to match those mirrors, and you can see the lines that come off that trim piece flow very nicely to that back tire. This is the 8 Series, so it has a very nice sloping rear glass to it, just to give it more of an elegant design. And then last up, this has a very sleek gloss black trunk mounted spoiler that wraps all the way to almost the end of the taillights there, which are LED of course. This has a backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then that dual exhaust system, which we can go ahead and start up. Because this does have remote start, all I need to do is triple tap on the lock button. That is how you activate it, and this will come to life. And then once you triple tap on that, you can use that to shut it off. We will get some exhaust clips here in just a little bit. Let's move on to the trunk space now. I can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath for that power operated trunk. And surprisingly, this has a great amount of space. This would be an excellent daily driver because you can fit a lot of items in the back. There's battery access on one side, a storage net on the other. No storage up underneath the floor, but you can fold down the back seats just by pulling on those tabs on each side. And you will see that provides a lot more interior space, so it makes it that much more practical. You can also close and lock or just close that power trunk. It's a very quick process. So as we work our way to the interior, of course you can use the door handle to lock and unlock this. And we have the cognac leather for this model. So you can see all of that leather on the door panel along with all the brushed aluminum. There's the memory seating adjustments, lock and unlock, even the Bowers & Wilkins audio sound system. A little bit of storage, a release for the trunk, solid black leather for that entire lower section, and then all of the brushed aluminum buttons for the window controls and the power folding side mirrors. Now M850i is also an illuminating badge down on the door sill, and we get that solid leather seat, which has a nice design. Power operated of course, however there is the manual adjustment for the leg section there if you need a little bit more comfort. Now to gain access to the back seats, I just have to pull that tab, push the backrest forwards. You will see that entire seat move forwards, giving me room at 5'10" to hop into the back. Now you're not buying this to be a full 4-seater vehicle. You can see there's a little bit of space on that passenger side with room to move that forwards. So it is a little bit crammed. My head is of course up against the headliner here, so I could ride around town 5-10 minutes, something like that. So you're not using this for a full 4-seater, but I could be back here if I needed an extra seat, or you wanted to use this for more interior storage. The back seats also have a 50-50 split, so you can fold one side down if you have one passenger as well. And there is plenty of visibility for your backseat passengers, or visibility in general. This has the full Alcantara headliner. It's even up on the backrest area there too. So it's very nice. If you need to use these, you do have them. So it makes it a lot more practical, very easy to get out there as well. So with the backrest back, the seat will move to where it was originally, and then it's a low car, so it's very easy to enter and exit. Now we have solid leather for the steering wheel. It is an M steering wheel, of course. It's also heated, and we have more of the stitching running throughout it. But let's bring this back to life. With my foot on the brake, we can fire this up. And on this digital gauge cluster, you'll see the fuel level and miles per hour on that left side. Right side is the tach and the engine temperature. The map is also front and center, which is fixed, and it's nice to see, so that way you have those graphics to look at. And then within that tach, you can actually go through a lot more info using the button on the top of the turn signal stalk. So currently it's showing the odometer along with some data information. You can also pull up live readouts for horsepower and torque. So if I give the vehicle some gas, you can see those adjust. You can also pull up the G-force meter, monitor your audio, even look at what gear the vehicle is in, along with the driving mode. So currently this is in comfort, and then there's a live readout for your MPG. So it's nice to have that. Now just above M850i is the sensor for your face. So that's a part of the adaptive cruise, just to monitor if you are still paying attention. Now on this left side, that is how you can activate the adaptive cruise along with the steering assist. Volume and tuning for the radio are on the right side, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. And this even gets steering wheel mounted paddle shifters finished off in the brushed aluminum. Now on this left side, there's all the headlight and parking light adjustments, along with dimmer switches for the gauges. This does have a head-up display. It'll be a little bit hard to see, but it has the miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then the entire dash is covered in more leather and stitching. Now for the infotainment system, you can see the home screen here with the navigation, music, and phone. There's also data information. You have the compass too. And then you have a few blanks here where you can add more information depending on what you view the most. Now on this left side, these are all presets, so you can quickly get into all this information. And under car, there's a lot more to go through, where I will use this rotary dial. There's also shortcuts just in front of that, so you can quickly get to that info. So right now, if I go up to driving information, you can go into the sport displays to monitor all of this while you're having some fun driving this car. We can go back to vehicle status, so you can see all of these vitals if needed. And then under settings, you have a lot to go through, just depending on what you'd like to configure and how it best suits you. You have the driving modes, general information, even all of the lighting as well. There's driver profiles, owner's manual. If we go back to apps, this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and some other apps that you can install as needed. It's a very easy system to go through. You can even monitor the intelligent safety on the screen as well. So there's a shortcut for that, so you can go through all this and configure it what works best for you. Now underneath that button, there's another LCD screen for the climate adjustments. So we have the fan speed and the temperature, where you'd like the air to go, a few other controls on each side of those. And this even gets a set of heated and ventilated seats for your front seat passengers. So you have one button to control each of those depending on what you'd like to do. Very nice to see that integration. And then below that, we have power and volume for the radio, all of the presets and tuning, and we have carbon fiber for this cover. If I open this up, this has the wireless charging pad. There are two cup holders, a 12 volt and a USB. And then to the left of all of those controls with the shifter, I'll simply push the release, push it forwards, and you will see the 360 camera up here, where we have the top-down view with the specific pinpoints, or you can go to the 360 view. We have the gesture control that you can go around the entire vehicle, or you can push on these shortcuts here and get all the visibility that you need, including another top-down view. So that way you can see that with the guidelines turning too with the wheel. It gives you a lot of visibility. Now in order to see the front-facing camera, I'll just push on this shortcut button on the left side there. You have a full screen. This even has an activation point, so it will pop up in certain areas if you choose to set it that way. Now, if I go back into drive, I can pop it over into the manual setting. That allows you to use the paddle shifters, and then park is located on the back. Now, also on this left side, there's traction control along with the parking sensors, the engine start-stop feature, and a few different driving modes depending on how you would like to drive this. So there's sport mode with a few different settings. There's also comfort, and then a few for Eco Pro. There's even an adaptive setting. There's the auto hold and the electronic parking brake. More carbon fiber, of course, surrounding all of those. And then for the center armrest, we have that split design with a good amount of space and some auxiliaries so you can charge more electronics. And then the glove box has an ample amount of room for all of that information. We'll take another look at this interior. And up top, we have the dome lights. There's also a call button on the backside, even more Alcantara for the sun visors, which is great to see. As we set off now behind the wheel for this M850i, this model here has an MSRP right around $113,000. I don't believe that this is fully loaded. There are some other options that you can go with, but for about $115,000, let's call it, just to round it off, I think you're getting a pretty cool coupe from BMW. Now, I just drove the M8 Competition, which has the same engine with a lot more power, so I'm not going to compare this to that too much. If you want to see the full review for the M8 Comp, definitely check that out. So driving these back to back, like I said, we have the same engine, a little bit detuned and a lot less expensive. So for that $115,000 price point, that actually puts this M850i in line with the Nissan GTR, which is also a two-doored four-seater coupe like this. There's really not too many other options in that price point. Maybe some of the Porsche 911 Carreras, but their back seats are pretty much laughable. You really can't put anything back there, maybe a backpack, if that. So for the configuration of this car, I really think the GTR is the only competitor to this, you know, size for size, where you can actually put people in the back. That's going to be a lot more raw feeling than this 850i. This is going to be a lot more luxury focused than the GTR, of course. The GTR is a Nissan, so it's not going to have quite as much of the luxuries on the interior. It's still a phenomenal car. Don't get me wrong, my brother owns one, so if you want to see GTR content, check out that playlist. But for the M850i, a lot more luxury focused with the adaptive cruise, heated and ventilated seats, just a really, really nice place to be. So for over $100,000, I think it's pretty justifiable. Now, when you compare this to the GTR, it makes the GTR seem like a bargain because it has a lot more power and potential. However, with this car, a little bit different of a buyer. You are buying this because you want it to be more of a comfortable daily driver. You want it to be quiet, luxurious, comfortable. This model does have the Adaptive Pro suspension, so that way you can get that dialed in. It changes with the driving modes too, and that also changes the exhaust note too. So there's no physical exhaust note button. Just by pushing it in the different driving modes here, that's how you can change it. So with that out of the way, let's pop it into sport mode. And from second gear, we had some of the pops in that exhaust. Hopefully they come back. But so far, I think that this is a better sounding car than the M8 Comp, which sounds crazy to say, but the M8 Comp, unless I just didn't have the right exhaust note or in the right mode, this one pops a lot more. And honestly, you're not really losing a whole lot if you go with the 850i. This has 523 horsepower. The Comp has 617. So same amount of pound-feet of torque though, 553. So maybe with a tune, you could probably get this up to the M8 and spend significantly less money. However, you are missing the red buttons on the steering wheel. So if you're not looking for that next step up, this is still a lot of money. It's, you know, six-figure car, still has plenty of power. If you're not looking to go that one next step for the competition, this is still a great option. They're virtually identical. Like I said, I was just in it, so I'm driving these back to back. Virtually identical, and you're just missing some of that extra competition performance. So if that's not something you're interested in, but you want something that's going to handle very well, you still have performance, this is a vehicle that you could absolutely take to back roads. You could take it to the track. Not quite as track focused, of course, as the Competition, but you can still have some fun with this luxury style coupe. And it'll still put you back in your seat. It'll put a smile on your face. It is a fun vehicle to drive. Is it worth 6 figures though? I think it is. I think for the performance that you're getting and what you're getting too, there's not a whole lot of options if you want something that's also practical. And with another acceleration, it is such a fun car. Now, I will say, obviously I could feel a little bit more in the M8 Comp as far as power, but you still have over 500 horsepower. This is not a slow car. It's about a second slower to 60, which is a significant amount, but 3.6 seconds is still not slow by any means. So for about 115 grand, you're getting a pretty cool luxury style, performance-oriented coupe that is also incredibly practical. If this is your only car, this is the only car that you want, or you know you don't need more than one vehicle, it's very practical in the sense of putting in a lot of items, putting in other people. You don't just have to have one other person with you to go somewhere. So if you need that extra practicality, you use the seats very rarely in the back, it's a good option to go with. I can definitely see for the money and everything that you were getting with all the tech, all of the interior materials, and the sound of this exhaust. It is so good to hear. Few pops there. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this 2023 BMW M850i. Really, really nice coupe to get if you are in the market for something that is very luxurious, has a lot of nice materials, and it's super comfortable too. No road noise, no wind noise. It's a very nice place to be if you want to rack up the miles. But once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Check out their website, that link is down below. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.